Hey everyone, Tony George, DocSports.com. Got me some new swag. I rarely wear a hoodie, but why not? It's the opening line report, Week 10 NFL. I haven't looked at a single line, so I am opening up these lines and sharing them with you. These are just initial thoughts, discussions, and early leans on what I think about this week's upcoming NFL card. Be sure and leave your comments in the comments section below. We have to filter them because of the F-bombs and the haters and the porn sites. They know your demographic. Other services that come in and try and link up to their website and tell you how great they are and how big of a piece of human excrement I am and Docs is and all that crazy stuff you've got to fight on a daily basis. But nonetheless, if you leave valid comments, I will go in, read them all, approve them, put them up, have a lively discussion with you on the side. In the comment section as the week rolls along. So be sure and do that. Off a losing week, I only took 2 side picks all weekend long in the NFL. I took some chances. I had a 6-unit play on Tampa Bay. They pushed. I had a 4-unit play on Green Bay. Now, we'll talk about that when we pull up Green Bay's game. So 0-1-1. We lost a teaser because Kansas City didn't cover by 6. We had Seattle on the other side of that. So a rare losing weekend. We're 16-8 run coming in with side picks. So we're 16-9-1. Still good. Just wasn't my weekend of football. College football went 1-2. So just one of those weekends. We didn't get it done. We'll get it done this weekend. And we'll have everything up by Thursday, and we're ready to go. I've taken a day off from it. I watched the Monday Night Football game. What a debacle for the Saints. What? Think they missed Sean Payton? Drew Brees? Wow. And Baltimore looked as good as they've looked all year, and that defense is a different animal with Roquan Smith in there. That was like a defense. They looked like Ray Lewis and Ed Reed were playing for him. Humphrey had a hell of a game. Peters had a good game. Their offensive line is dominant. Their running backs aren't that great. Granted, they're Edwards and, Dobbins, the kid out of Ohio State. Dobbins has been hurt since he got drafted. But nonetheless, that's a team that's coming on. They didn't have Mark Andrews in that game either. Unreal. Let's take a look at these lines, see what's going on. Opener on Thursday night will be Atlanta at Carolina. Baker Mayfield made an appearance this last weekend. Atlanta -3, total 44.5. That's the opener. Initial thoughts over. Is Atlanta ready to lay points on the road? They grabbed defeat from the jaws of victory against the Chargers. Last second loss. Atlanta's a cover machine, man. Let's look at their number real quick. Because they're a cover machine. 6-3 against the spread versus 3-6 against the spread. They're 1-3 away. They play good away. Be a small lean on Atlanta, but boy, maybe take a look at the props in that one. Here we go on Sunday from Germany. Tampa Bay laying 2.5, Seattle +2.5. Total 44.5. Seattle, one of the biggest surprises in the NFL. Pete Carroll is doing, in my opinion, and I've not always been a huge Pete Carroll fan. He can rub you the wrong way. But he's doing his best coaching job I think he's done since he's been in the NFL. Smith's playing great at quarterback, could be comeback player of the year. Their defense has really stepped it up. I don't have a buy sign on Tampa Bay because they beat the Rams, which are crappy. Definitely have Seattle in the teaser plus 2.5. Total's about right. Detroit at Chicago. Detroit off a win against the Packers. Whoa. Wow. The worst defense in the NFL had Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers scoreless at halftime. 9 points for the game. They only managed 15 against the Packers defense, which is decimated with injuries. Total 48.5. Chicago's laying 3 at home. I like the over. Chicago's an over team. Since that bye week, they've got their offense figured out. They're doing much better now. They got Claypool. Detroit's a mess. Kansas City, my beloved Chiefs, right here. 9.5 points at home. 50.5 is the total against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, they're better than Jacksonville. Neither team has covered more than 3 games all year. Kansas City. Chargers on deck on the road. Then they're playing the Rams, and then they're playing the Bengals. Divisional game up. I could only look at the underdog there. It's too many points. May put them in a teaser. New Orleans minus 2.5 at the Steelers. Steelers off a bye week. Total 41.5. Give me the Steelers. Cleveland plus 4 on the road at Miami. Total 48.5. Miami's an over team. Just like Chicago. Might want to take a look at that over in that Chicago and Detroit game. Tua come back there. I can only take Miami. Minnesota catching 6.5. A 1-loss team versus a 2-loss team catching 6.5 with Buffalo. Total 45.5. I could only lean the underdog, but here's the key. Buffalo coming off a loss. They've looked bad a couple of times. I'm sick of hearing about how great Buffalo is. They're the best team in the AFC. They're not right now. That was proven last week. By the way, the Jets defense is for real. They're no joke. They're winning with Wilson at quarterback, and he looks like a clown act most of the time. You know, he's not ready to be an NFL quarterback. Joe Flacco's on the downside of a career, so what are they going to do there? But Buffalo right now, I haven't heard the results of the MRI on Josh Allen. That's key, especially for you, those of you that are hanging on to Buffalo in a survivor pool. Minnesota, you know, they find ways to win. They just find ways to win. They scrap it out, get ugly. It was ugly last week against the Commander. They just figure out ways to win games late. They got talent. Jefferson, Thielen, Cook, Cousins is serviceable. You know, this isn't a primetime game. When you ever get him in primetime, or Dalton, or a couple of these other guys, wait and see the status of what's going on with Allen. But if that line, because he's worth 4 points. Yeah, that's a scary game right there. I'd consider Minnesota, even with Allen. I'd definitely consider him in a teaser. There you go. Put them in Seattle in the teaser. Denver on the road at Tennessee, laying 338.5. Under. Houston and Tennessee looks way too easy to take 3 against the Broncos coming back from London. New York Giants minus 6.5 against Houston. My Lord, total 40.5. Mm. Giants in a teaser. I'm not laying 6.5 with them. They're winning with smoke and mirrors. I faded them when they played Seattle. Houston will give you a ball game. Colts getting 6.5 at the Las Vegas Raiders. What is Las Vegas doing laying 6.5 to anybody? Now, the Colts just got rid of everybody. Frank Reich's gone. They brought in Jeff Saturday, ESPN host analyst. Never coached in his life except high school. Jim Irsay's crazy. That being said, do you really trust Las Vegas laying 6.5? I don't know who's calling plays for Indianapolis. I don't know who the offensive coordinator is, the defensive coordinator. What are you going to do at quarterback? Is Saturday going to bring back in the veteran with Ryan? Or is he going to go with Sam Ehlinger, who has got sacked 9 times? I'll tell you one thing right now. Las Vegas's defensive line is going to own the Colts. If they can't win this by 7, they need to fire McDaniels. I want nothing to do with it. 42.5, want nothing to do with it. Dallas laying 5, total 42.5 at Green Bay. Take Dallas. Green Bay's a disaster. Disaster. Yeah, I put out a tweet at T George Sports. Put out a tweet during that game last week. You know, sometimes there's even some teams in the middle of the season that you look at and you go, you know what? I still can't figure these guys out. They're an enigma wrapped in a riddle. Well, Green Bay has clearly identified their identity. They suck. Lambeau, cold weather. And quite frankly, I think Pollard's a better running back than Zeke at this point. More explosive, quicker. Green Bay's all beat up on the defensive side of the ball. They lost their best linebacker. Jones is questionable to play. Dallas. Arizona on the road, catching 3 at the Rams. Wow. 43.5. Both of them have got 3 wins. Kingsbury's got to go. And McVay needs to get his head out of his butt. That's a tough call. That's a tough call. There's no value in that game. Let me pull up a number here. Rams, defending Super Bowl champs, have 3 wins, have covered 2 games all year. 43.5. Take the under. They've had 2 overs all year, 6 unders. 5 unders for the Cardinals, who are having trouble scoring. You know, divisional game against Seattle, they scored 9. Next divisional game against Seattle, they scored 21. They've lost to the Rams 12-20 first time around. Take the under. There you go. Sunday night football game. San Francisco 7. Chargers on the road 46.5. Boy. Take a look at this one a minute. That's an interesting line. Well, the Chargers got the better quarterback in the game. That's for starters. I'm just looking at some numbers, guys. Boy, San Francisco put up 31 against the Rams defense. You got Chargers. They've won 3 out of 4. The tough win at Atlanta. Seattle took it to them. They won at Denver 19-16 and beat Cleveland 30-28. Beat Houston 34-24. Lost to Jacksonville by 28. Oh my God. I'd use San Francisco in a teaser, probably 46.5. I'd probably look to go over that. Washington taking on Philadelphia on Monday Night Football. Philadelphia is minus 10.5 in a divisional game. Over and under is 43.5. Now, you got to ask yourself this question. Now, everybody lost their rear end, laying a big number with them at Houston. They're up to 11 now, total 44. I'm looking at this game, guys. Let's see who they beat. Houston, Pittsburgh. Quality win against Dallas by 9. Arizona, 3-point win. Blah. 8-point win against Jacksonville at home in a rainstorm. They beat Washington earlier this year, 24-8 at Washington. They beat Minnesota, and they had to score 38 to beat Detroit by 3. That's hardly a murderer's row. Washington's playing better with Heineke, quarterback. He's much better than Wentz. In my opinion, Carson Wentz is a joke. He is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. Kind of like the dog there. Those are my thoughts initially out of the gate. They're not handicapped. I did see a potential game of the year in here as well. I may only have one pick in the NFL this weekend. Might even be a totals play. Leave your comments section below. That's how I see Week 10 going into it. Probably look a little different when I get done going out of it and get my picks up on Thursday, but those are my initial thoughts. Thanks for tuning in. Get over to Docs. We got a free $60. Link in the description below. College basketball's here. Every sport you want, we got covered. Be sure and come over and check us out.